part of this, you notice how smooth that gully was on the blade.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that unless you prepare the stone properly.
Right, with a diamond.
With a diamond, right, but it's more than that. You can't have this thing grind on that, go down and come back up again, because it's going to impart a pattern like this on the stone as it goes through. Because you're taking off a lot at once. And that pattern is going to show up on your blade like this.
Okay.
It's 3,600 RPM, so all it takes is one little imperfection in the surface of this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 3,600 times a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's 3,600 RPM, isn't it? Revolutions per minute.
Sounds right to me. You know better than I do that.
I'm just guessing. What does it say over here? Oh well. So I'll show you the way I prep the stone. Always wear a mask and ear protection, but I don't have any ear protection left today. So with it off, basically one can pull this out like so, and down here set the radius. What you don't want to do is just set this loosely, because then this is going to slide. So let's just say we're going to do these at a 1/2 inch here, which is, because this is coming from somebody else's bank, and I do mine at 9/16, okay?
Now, on figure skates, what do you...
The standard here is a 1/2 inch. For
1/2 inch.
figure skate.
How long did it take you to sharpen them?
9/16 is not as deep.
Right after the skate.
So that means there's less chance of it cutting someone because the edges aren't as sharp. And secondly, it will last longer.
Okay.
The deeper the cut, the sharper the edge, the greater the stopping and turning and all that kind of stuff. You sacrifice and you lose some speed. And then you have to sharpen it more frequently. The edge doesn't last as long. I've sharpened hockey skates all the way from 1/4 to 3/4. It just depends on the guy.
Right, right. But the standard is...
Here at this rink,
Okay.
there are a lot of rinks are private rinks, and it's just hockey. Maybe there's a skate Saturday afternoon. Maybe there's a public skate Sunday night.
Yeah.
Otherwise, hockey's paying the bills.
Well, for us, it's the opposite. Figure skate is the king, and then public skating, and we have almost no hockey.
Okay. So anyway, you want to pass this up and down and make sure it doesn't hit. You hear it up there? These are very small currents that I'm putting into it. There's beginning to touch the whole surface. So I hear it touching the whole surface, maybe just a little bit more to make sure that I'm really getting anything. That's what I want. 5 or 6 of these guys like that, I'm not pushing it, I'm just raising and lowering. And then I don't feel it anymore, because that is a smooth edge. That is the butter, on the blade. It's really great. It's nice and slick. That might go on at the beginning of a session. Several hours later, I'm just grinding my water pressure. We'll slick it with big slide effortlessly over the steel. And if you really want to do it, take, a cloth like this. But these are heavy sticks and they're sliding very easily.
Right.
If you don't want a lot of friction here, so you push them hard, you go across, and all of a sudden they hit something that's smooth, and down.
Yeah.
You put it over in the blade. Once the skirt is on the jig, don't ever lift it by the boot.
Okay.
Kylo didn't like the skates.
What?
Kylo didn't like the skates. Because I sharpened them, and he was only skated on them probably today.
He's from Mexico. He's a prima donna. Hey! So, I ordered up a couple classes. Very important that you bring it close to the stone like this. See the way these fingers are here? It's like holding a cheese cube. You've only done it. The fine adjustments are going to be made right here. Not with the big muscles here. Not with the calf, not with the shoulders, not with the arm. You bring it in like that, and you adjust it. So I get right over the top here, and I look down at what you don't want to do, because you don't want to grind off the sofa.
Right. We know that one.
Expensive skates, they'll hate you for it. You can't put it back on.
They said something about there's like a space between the two pictures as well, right where you don't cut.
Yeah, right here, you can see right in there.
Yeah, that. What do they call it? No cut, right?
No cup. You want to get close, and these are not. This is not an aggressive token.
Right.
The way you'll find on with those games. You know, there's something sticking way out like that. You want to get right over the top, bring it in close, guide it in with your fingers like this. One thing that's very important also, make sure when I'm passing it through, my hands are feeling the pressure. But here's what I'm looking at. What I don't want to do is jam that onto the jig, and now you've got a big pivot in your blade, and you'll never take it out. So even if you stay further back on nearly all of your passes, and on only the very, very last finishing pass, if you bring it up first, you'd be in better shape. I'm usually, at this point, 5 or 6. Bring it up like this, eyeball it. Look in the light, and you can pick the light that you want so that you can actually see the profile. As you know, maybe for some people it's a little bit up there, other people look over here. If I could build this differently, I wouldn't have that light back in there. I have it over here, something like that. You can have another light over here that's specially designed for your sharpener, so they can look at it like this. But the background is very important, because when you look at this down there, can you see the silhouette of the blade? Dark blade, and then behind it is the lightness of the steel table. So let's say this might be less than straight. Take it over, take the rough stone at a very oblique angle. Do that until you're not feeling any rough stuff on it. You usually want to hold this nice and firmly. If the blade has been chewed up, if the people have walked on concrete, for example, a bunch of nicks in it, this is going to be a rough pass. You're going to feel all the crap on the edge. Right. Just put more gentle passes as opposed to putting more force on the stone.
Okay.
Then the most interesting stuff is coming up here. So come on around here. Okay. Here's where differences in technique between the staff are going to start showing up. Because you can test this thing as many for level in many places as you want. I just do 2. Toe and heel. I'm figuring if these guys are lined up, I don't have to worry about the middle.
Okay.
People that use this part thing right here, which is the tipper, they'll also test in the middle. That's over my head. I don't know how to do that. So set it down here like this, screw it in, take this guy, this is mine, don't drop it, don't slide it along here, because this is steel and that's aluminum, and this is what happens.
Right.
This comes from simply setting it down.
Wow.
But if you're pulling it along like that,
Yeah.
then you're going to have a big groove in there,
Right.
and now this is going to be lumpy. Set it down just like that. And I use a kickback like this and sight it. Notice it is not parallel here. That makes a big difference. You might want to tip it over until it really is parallel, and then sight along it like that.
Yeah.
That looks good. Usually I can get it within 2,000th of an inch. This takes it down to 1,000th of an inch.
Wow.
And there are times, you really can't see the toe and the heel of the blade very well in that light. Okay. So now in this case, this side is lower. And this is the most important thing. You have to remember how the blade or the boot went onto the jig. Because when we put it back on the jig, I've got to know which of those wheels to move, which direction. Figure skates are easy because the toe is always to the left. Hockey skates are different because the instep is always down, the way I was taught. So it's low on the heel here. What I'm going to be saying to myself right now is a little bit up on the heel. Okay? Off this comes. Back it goes on the jig, just the way all the figure skates come. That's on. Check the separation there. This is the heel. If it's got to come up, then it's got to screw out so that it raises it.
Right.
If in fact it was the opposite, if it had to go down a lot on the heel, I'd give it a pretty good screw down as opposed to raising it up. For that little bit, and that will come in time. I better not take away our business card. He's getting all the inside tips.
I think it takes more experience than just watching.
Oh, that's it.
Ash will never give all his tips away.
He's got a gun. He looked at it. I'm worried. And usually, here's another thing. When I'm here, I usually face it. I feel my weight on the balls of my feet and my heel, and I feel my toes touching the ground. They're just literally touching the ground. And I bend my knees a little so it's completely touching the ground. If it's a long skate, you gotta spin it with feet like this, and you're going at the heel. And going all the way to the
Yeah, right.
If you get it on covered too, you like this, for example, you really have to feel and listen and walk.
You got to do workout, huh?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Very little coming off. So, it's usually, if you've made an adjustment to the jig to raise the roller, usually 4 passes to make the change. And now that we've gone through the rough story, I'll do this guy out. You see the angle there? Not this. A little bit like that. And sometimes, if there's a little grain of something on here or something like that, all of a sudden you get something that looks like that. You say, whoa, wait a minute. So check this, check that. And if it's not what you expect it to be, move it a little bit. Don't necessarily go with one reading, but
Yep.
get up, move it to here. The further you go toward the end here, the weirder it gets. Very few people are skating on this back here, you know, so.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Well, it's not perfect.
Right. But there it is, though.
Yep, it made a change. So in this particular case, I'd want to be raising the heel a little bit more. I didn't go very far. Maybe I only just turned it that much. If I was really doing customer skates, I'd put it back on there. I'd move it another half, you know, a bit of a turn like that.
Right.
So over time, and because these are wider blades than hockey blades, you have to move this thing further, turn it more, because you've got more blade to move up and down than you do with a hockey skate. You know, with a hockey skate, you might be making a change like that. In a figure skate, you might be making a change like that, just for the width. The width of the blade.
Right.
And that's basically it.
Yes, sir.